Good afternoon, welcome to Friday. So last night I went up, I laid my camera down on the side of the bed and I fell asleep. I was done. It was, well, a while after 2 before I even got up there, so vlog didn't get done. I actually haven't done it yet. I'm en route to Lyric. I mentioned in yesterday's video I got the PDF of the quote. I printed it out, I wrote down a couple real small things on there that I want to make sure are done. The part descriptions, there aren't part numbers on the quote, just part descriptions, and they're very generic, like hex bolt, steel gasket, bearing shell. I know what those are, and I can tell by the quantity. There's 8 of one part and 8 of another, so those are the rod bearings themselves. But I put on the list like NGK spark plugs. Engine's out. I mean, it doesn't make much of a difference if the engine's out, but it's probably easier to get to cylinders 5 and 8. So that's less than $60 for a set of spark plugs. And while I'm doing all this, I want new plugs in it. Same deal with the thermostat. I would guess that would be a little easier while it's out. You don't have the radiator and the fan and crap in the way. You don't have to take the fan off. So new thermostat and then motor mounts. And then I'm going to ask him about, well, it's down, doing the clutch, and see if that incurs a lot of labor. I'll probably push it till next year sometime. But if it's really just parts cost and they've got the transmission down, then I'm going to do it. I think the parts cost isn't that bad. So that's where I am now. I'm going to head over there, and then I'm going to go down to Silver Lake, visit grandparents, and see if they need anything, see what's going on down there.
Wasting away again in Margaritaville.
Our beautiful weather of yesterday is no more. We're down to 63 degrees and rainy, very cloudy today. Supposed to be beautiful though the rest of the weekend, up in the low 70s and clear skies, I think. So I'm looking forward to that. My camera battery is flashing. I forgot to switch last night, so we may have an abbreviated vlog today until I get home and switch batteries again. All right, so before my battery dies, I'm over here at Lyric, and this is that M5. I Carfaxed it. It's an 02, 60,000 miles. It just got put on ground control coilovers. And it's low, but it looks damn good. These things look better down a little bit, but for practicality reasons, I just haven't done it. Yeah, so that looks great. They're doing an RK supercharger on it too. They got a 330i. I see this car in town all the time. It's immaculate. A 650 and then an E46 M3 SMG. Cool stuff in here today. Tom is at Acme in Hudson getting some lunch. He's gonna be back in a few minutes, so I'm gonna hang out and then talk to him. Well, I bowled a 152 in game 3. We're on game 6 now, and we're both eating shit. Whoa! Alex just spared it up. Although it's not Alex's name up there. Good morning, it's 2:21. I'm pretty much spent. Trying to recap the day, it all feels like about 40 hours ago. I went to Lyric today. That's where I spent the fun part of the day, if you will. I showed up probably just after about 12 o'clock noon. Tom, the guy I've been working with, had just gone out to lunch. He went to a grocery store in Hudson, bought some stuff, and then I apparently went out with somebody and had lunch. So I was there for about a half hour while I waited for him to return. I talked to the head mechanic who will be doing the work on this car, on the engine that I'm planning on pulling the trigger on probably Monday, if not before. And talked to him for a half hour. He showed me all around the shop. Incredibly organized. They've got every tool imaginable. He had this light. I'm forgetting the name of it now, but he was working on an E90 3 Series 328 doing valve cover gaskets. And it's this light that it had these little padded rubber pads that snapped over the hood here, snapped over the hood there while it was open. And it beautifully lit the entire engine bay. I'm like, holy crap, I need one of those. He was telling me about it. I think it's called a Sabre or something. It was $102, which isn't bad. It comes on a 25-foot cord. It's this huge fluorescent bulb in there that actuates on itself. And doing interior and engine work beautifully lights the whole engine bay. So if I ever get to the point where I find myself doing engine work, I'm definitely going to pick up one of those. But I talked to him for a while, and this guy's awesome. He was telling me how there's so many like bolts and just fasteners on BMWs that do not need to be there. And he said he turns it into kind of a game with himself that everything has to go back exactly how it was. If he has one bolt, one clip, one retaining clip, one little plastic pop rivet left over when he's done, he finds where it goes and he puts it back. He's never left something untouched, which is the opposite of Dave Walter. The dealership around here, I've gotten the car back and there's usually a bag in the trunk with fastening equipment. I guess it's good that they don't throw it away and they give it to me like, well, we couldn't figure out where it goes, maybe you will. I remember this one time I got 3 random bolts and it took me about a month to figure out where they went. And I'll show you where they went. It was very stupid and very simple. 1, 2, 3. 3 bolts that hold on the plastic battery cover. Why they took that off, I don't know. You can disconnect the battery right here by loosening the 10mm nut and pulling off the negative cable. So I don't get that, but they just skip stupid stuff like that. They cut corners. And from Lyric Motorsport, I get a very strong feeling that they don't cut corners. They really want to do a 100% quality job. So anyways, then Tom came back. I talked to Tom for a while. He was telling me, I actually asked him a couple of things. So I want to do plugs, I want to do thermostat, I want to do motor mounts. He's like, yeah, no problem. That makes sense, let's do it. And then I said, well, you know what? We're going to have the pistons disconnected from the low end. We're doing the rod bearings, so they're disconnected from the crankshaft. He put the head gaskets on the quote, so we're going to have new head gaskets, which means you've got the heads off. Why don't we push the cylinder up through the block, take the piston out, push the piston out. Why don't we take the piston out, put new rings on the piston, and then refinish the inside of the block? He's like, you know what? That's a good idea, man. You know, he didn't know how crazy I wanted to get with it, and the parts cost isn't much. It's going to be just over $100 for a full set of piston rings for the OE. And while it's out, he said they'd hone out the cylinders and put in sleeves. So I guess that's how they do it. They bore it out ever so slightly just to get a perfect finish on the inside. Then they put a sleeve in for enhanced strength to bring the displacement back to factory spec. Since they took material out by polishing it up, or however that works. So I talked to Adam about that. He's like, yeah, you know what? It's all apart. It's a good idea. There you go. You're going to have perfect compression after that. They did say it's a 15,000 mile break-in process. He said if you test the compression, you're going to see a difference in numbers for the first 10, 15,000 miles. You won't feel it unless you're out on a track pulling numbers. I don't do that with this car. It'll probably take me 2 or 3 years to put 15,000 miles on it, but at that point it'll be perfect. So it looks like we're going to do piston rings too. So I talked to Adam. I got the exact price he wants for the motor. So I'm going to get him a cashier's check in the mail on Monday, should everything go well. Then I talked to Tom. He said, yeah, they take the engine out through the top. They first take the transmission down. While the transmission's down, we might as well do shifter carrier bushings, clutch pressure plate, flywheel, and throwout bearing. Well, that's all down. It's really only going to be parts costs. So I'm going to get the official quotes on that. You know, if it comes back and it's going to be a ton more to do that, I'll do the clutch and stuff later. But while the transmission's down, that seems like the majority of the labor, and the exhaust is down and the drive shaft's out. That seems like the majority of the labor is already done. So it's going to be really good. We're going to get this car back, and it's going to have almost like a fully rebuilt 120,000 mile S62 in it. We should have great power. We should have great reliability. I'm not doing it for power. If I were doing it for power, I'd go in there and build it for a supercharger, and we'd have 550 wheel horsepower. I don't need that. The car makes around 400 crank. That's great. It's a fast car. It really is. And I don't need any more than that. And I've had it for 5 years. So it's going to be fantastic when it's back. I don't really anticipate it being back the end of this season and out on the road with a fully built engine. You know, if I get the engine done by early winter, I'll have it installed. If not, then I'll go back in the spring. We'll put it in the spring and break it in next summer. So that's where we're going to be with that. The rest of the day, I went to the grandparents' house. We did a bunch of stuff with them. We went shopping. We got gas, the usual. Went to dinner at Applebee's. Picked up Alex. Came back here. We went bowling. It was a blast. We played like 8 games. My left leg and my right thumb is killing me. I'm totally exhausted now. I'm going to go up, do like 1 email, and probably fall asleep. If I get the vlogs done today, great. If not, I apologize. They'll be done Saturday. Definitely. We'll get that up to speed tomorrow. And I'll talk with you guys then. Hope your weekend started well. Good night.